Hey all, welcome back to my 30 Days of Shakespeare. Thank you very much for watching, and especially I know you guys, I know who you are, those ones out there that are following along regularly, and I really do thank you, and I love chatting with you in the comments, even when we disagree. Keith, this is for you, and I love it so much, and thank you, I'm so grateful. And tonight, as of tonight, and for the next couple of readings, I'm going to be starting to dive into some of the history plays. I love the history plays because I think they are about relationships. Obviously, it's about power dynamics and power struggles and war and death. And that's partly why I love it, because it comes down to that such a human element of how we relate to each other and what we do when we come up against power and things aren't working for us. And, you know, the stakes are so high because if people didn't do the right thing, they would die. So there's so much going on in them. And I think they can be very overwhelming for people that don't understand. Definitely the characters and the character names tend to really overwhelm people, I know. So please, I'm going to ask you, what has helped you engage with history plays? If you are someone that likes them, and if you're someone that has always been overwhelmed by them, what do you find overwhelming? Drop it in the comments, because I want to get dialogue going. That's partly why I'm doing these things. And tonight I'm going to read a little bit of York from Henry VI, Part 2. Now, what I'm going to try and do with this is a massive monologue. And I want to focus on the main argument. Like, what is really going on here? How can we make it so clear to someone that's never seen the play before, they don't understand what's going on? How can we, and in this case me, how can I spell out for you, this is what's going on? So I'm going to really focus not so much on emotion and what the character's going through, but like, I'm telling you a story and here's some information. Interestingly, this monologue, it's almost like two monologues in one, because he starts with Anjou and Maine are given to the French. So that's already a little bit of information for you there. And he talks for a while about, you know, how people that decided that probably don't care about it. And, you know, of course they don't care because it doesn't affect them. And then he gets to about halfway through and he says again, Anjou and Maine both given unto the French. And that's like the beginning of another monologue where it starts to, I think it becomes more about what he's going to do, and he starts kind of plotting. And that's where I think you sort of see a little bit of a glimpse of what his son is going to become, the plotter, Richard III. Right, so let's jump in and see how we go. Anjou and Maine are given to the French. Paris is lost. The state of Normandy stands on a tickle point now they are gone. Suffolk concluded on the articles. The peers agreed, and Henry was well pleased to change 2 dukedoms for a duke's fair daughter. I cannot blame them all. What is it to them? 'Tis thine they give away, and not their own. Pirates may make cheap pennyworths of their pillage, and purchase friends, and give to courtesans, still revelling like lords till all be gone, while as the silly owner of the goods weeps over them, and wrings his hapless hands, and shakes his head, and trembling stands aloof, while all is shared, and all is borne away, ready to starve, and dare not touch his own. So York must sit and fret and bite his tongue, while his own lands are bargained for and sold. Methinks the realms of England, France, and Ireland bear that proportion to my flesh and blood, as did the fatal brand Althea burned unto the prince's heart of Callion. Anjou and Maine both given unto the French. Cold news for me, for I had hope of France, even as I have of fertile England's soil. A day will come when York shall claim his own, and therefore I will take the Neville's parts, and make a show of love to proud Duke Humphrey. And when I spy advantage, claim the crown, for that's the golden mark I seek to hit. Nor shall proud Lancaster usurp my right, nor hold the sceptre in his childish fist, nor wear the diadem upon his head, whose church-like humours fits not for a crown. Then York, be still a while, till time to serve. Watch thou and wake when others be asleep, to pry into the secrets of the state, till Henry, surfeiting in joys of love with his new bride and England's dear bought queen, and Humphrey with the peers be fallen at jars, then will I raise aloft the milk-white rose, with whose sweet smell the air shall be perfumed, and in my standard bear the arms of York, to grapple with the house of Lancaster. And force perforce I'll make him yield the crown, whose brickish rule hath pulled fair England down. It's cool, right? Like, you can actually divide that in half and maybe, like, for audition purposes, just do the second half. It's really cool, or otherwise cut it down a bit. But I actually love it. I love his character. I love that you get a little bit of a sense of like the Richard III vibe that's to come, even though obviously that's his son, not him. But it's like it's sort of setting up, like you see the seed of it, which is so interesting to me, like whether Shakespeare was playing with that concept of this plotting, or whether he just kind of thought that everyone was plotting back then, which is possible. Everyone was kind of plotting, and probably had a few mispronunciations there, because I didn't look up some of those ones there before. But hopefully you got the sense of the argument, like what's actually going on. Hopefully if you were new to that, you understood. And as my little offering, as I like to make, the Playing Shakespeare series, which I'm always talking about, they do that long monologue from Henry V, and I'm trying to remember, it is the... sorry, I can't remember who it is, but it's another really good example of a complicated speech delivered for the main argument, where you're really trying to get meaning across, and they do a really good example of that, the best one I've ever seen. I will drop that in the comments when I check what I'm actually talking about, so I don't just blah, blah, blah here. I'm doing enough of that already. I need to stop doing these late at night because I can't think. Thank you for watching anyway, and I'll see you in the next video.